Hey everyone, this is Jordan from Sleeklens.com and welcome to another Mimic series video. This is where we take a photo offline that we really like how it's edited, and I show you how to edit that photo in Lightroom, how to get that same effect, and I give you a free preset afterwards. So I'm going to show you how to edit a particular photo that I found online to another totally different photo and show you how to get that same effect. So let's hop into the computer and I'll show you the photos that we're going to look at. Alright, so I pulled both photos in Lightroom, and this is the photo that I found that I kind of like the editing style. It's kind of got that teal tone, that kind of bluish tone, a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow kind of up in the sky, and it's got just a really nice look to it. So I want to take this photo and kind of turn it into this edited style photo. So just like we did in the last Mimic series video, I'm going to pull up my reference view. So I have this reference view. This is the photo I want it to look like. I'm actually going to click on this one here, and this is the photo I'm going to edit, and I'm going to drag this photo over into this reference view. Now I can see this photo as I'm editing it to compare it and see if it's looking pretty nice compared to this one. So the first thing we obviously want to do is start getting that tone to the photo, that look to the photo. So the easiest way to do that is actually with split toning. So I'm going to go down here to my split toning in Lightroom, and I'm going to start with the shadow detail because most of that blue tone is in the shadow detail. So I'm going to click over here and try to find a nice blue tone. Let's go roughly around over in this area. It's starting to look kind of matching there right here. You can kind of match along and go along with this. If your hue right down here is around 191, 192, you can click there and kind of get that same value. So I'm going to go with that one. The color matches pretty well there. I'm going to take my saturation and just knock that down a little bit. It's a little bit too saturated. So roughly around there. And now let's work on a little bit of those oranges and the highlights. The highlights are the bright parts of the photo here, so that's obviously where we want to put the highlights. So I'm going to go over here again, click in here, try to find that nice highlight color. It's probably over in this area. Don't want it to be too bright. But let's go to around here. So that looks pretty good. I got that nice yellow tone. It's a little bit too saturated, but we're going to take care of that in just a second. We'll knock the saturation down here. We'll go to around 14, 15, somewhere around there. So it's already looking almost exactly like this photo as far as the tones go. We might need to mess with the balance. I want a little bit more of that yellow coming through there. So I'm going to bump it up to around plus 12. And that looks pretty good. So there is basically our color for the photo. Now we need to kind of match the actual contrast of the photo. So one way I'm going to do that is actually going to the tone curve. I'm going to go on the RGB channel tone curve. I'm not going to mess with each individual channel here, but I'm just going to go to the regular RGB, and I'm going to create a small tone curve right here. I'm basically going to put a point roughly in this area, right around here, and I'm going to drag this beginning black point. I'm just going to drag it up. And that's going to fade it a little bit. If you go too far with it, you can see how much it fades out. It's kind of a cool look, but it doesn't match that particular photo. So I'm going to take it down a little bit more right there. And I'm also going to take the white point, and I'm going to drag that down. And what that's going to do is kind of take away a little bit of that real bright white high key look. So roughly around there looks pretty well. Now we can just go to our basics panel and we can start playing with the basics here. So white balance and all that area right here, the tint and tone, I'm not going to mess with that. I will take the contrast up a little bit because it is kind of dark in this area. So I'm going to take the contrast up a little bit to right around plus 42. Highlights, I'll knock those down to roughly around this area, I guess. Looks pretty good. We can always change it, obviously. Shadows, I actually want to darken those up. Usually you bring up the shadows, but I actually want to darken those up. That's going to create a pretty cool mood. So roughly around there. And if you just want to follow along with the values, you can obviously do that or download the free preset. So I'm going to go take the whites down as well. That's going to help with a little bit of that contrast. And I'm also going to take the blacks down as well. So I'll go down here just to really darken that area up. All right, great. So now let's finish it off with this this section down here, the clarity dehaze section. So I'm going to go actually bring the clarity up right here, and I'll take the dehaze, and I'll actually take away some of the dehaze, some of the haze there. I'm going to go to negative 10, and I'll bump the vibrance up just to give it a little bit more pop of color, roughly around there. So that looks pretty spot on when you're looking at both of these photos. One thing I do kind of see here that I kind of want a little bit more of, and this is just obviously a personal preference, is I might want a little bit more of the warmth and the highlight, so I'd actually take those up a little bit to roughly around here. I don't want to go crazy, obviously. Again, that's kind of a cool look, depending on what you're going on. I'll just take the saturation up a little bit. So the preset that I'm going to give you for free, link in the description down below. The preset is actually going to have the initial values, the initial look that we just created, but this is me just kind of playing with it and trying to show you that you can do different things when you apply that preset. So I like the way that looks. I'm going to keep that there. So that is basically it. So I'm going to show you the before and after here. This is a really good example of just showing you how you can learn different photo editing styles, just comparing your photos to different ones out there. So we took this kind of cool, nice foggy photo and turned it into this one, mimicking this photo right here. So if you want to get the free preset for Lightroom, the free XMP preset for Lightroom, click the link in the description down below. That'll take you over to the Sleeklens site, and you can download the free XMP preset there and apply this to your photos. So thank you guys for joining me in this mimic video. This has been Jordan from Sleeklens, and I'll see you in the next video.